Hello, screenwriters. Welcome back to Five Questions with a Screenwriter. And the screenwriter we have with us today is Simon Owens.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to do it.
All right, okay, let's get into it. Question number one. What are three screenplays every new writer should read, in your opinion?
Ooh, that is a good question. Um, I would say I almost want to just like go into my folder right now and look at all the ones that I've read recently. Um, for movies, I would say The Social Network
Yes,
is one
yes.
of the best ones you can read. Read it alone, then read it while you're watching the movie, then read it again. It's such a good way of teaching you how to write. Um, on top of that, oh, it's so hard to pick. Honestly, probably the best screenplay I've read. It's not a produced screenplay. It's something that I found on the blacklist, and it is about Rocky, the making of Rocky. And I am blanking on the guy's name. He also wrote Madden, the new Madden movie coming out for Amazon. And so him and I both got an 8 at the same time. So we were in like the email blast together. And so I just took a look at his script, and it is quite possibly the best, like the other than like the social network, and it's funnier, so it's kind of like it more. It's the best script I've ever read. It's
Wow.
it's unbelievable. And so I reached out to him afterwards just to tell him that like he blew my mind. And then the Arrested Development pilot, because there's not a better comedy and just weaving in multiple storylines. Uh,
Wow, that is like so cool. First things first, The Social Network is actually my favorite screenplay of all time. So I'm so
yeah,
glad you mentioned that. I love that screenplay. I remember reading it. It's the first screenplay I've read where
mm,
it's a drama, but it reads like a thriller.
yeah,
You know, like that was like I'm like, wow, this is like I feel like I'm watching like a chase action scene, but all it
yeah.
is like conversations.
Hmm.
So it's amazing. And then you mentioned like the the story that's unproduced, that's on the blacklist. That's
Yeah,
very interesting because like I was on Coverfly, and I used to do like like peer readings and things like that. And I remember like on there, there was a lot of good screenplays too. So
yeah.
it's cool that you give those screenplays a shout out too, because there's a lot of screenplays that's written. Obviously, they go unproduced for various reasons. So
Yeah.
I may have to check that Rocky
It's
make it
Cameron
fit.
Clark is his name,
Okay.
and he just writes like he's. I think he's one of the best writers doing it right now. I've read a few of his screenplays now, just because like I'm a fan. We've talked a little bit, and just like yeah, it's he's great.
Yeah, I have to put the pilot for Arrested Development on my list because I've heard great things about the show. I've never seen the
Mhm.
show, but yeah, I'm gonna have to add the pilot on my list then and
All
check the
right,
show out. Yeah, but those are like a good um, variety of choices. All right, question number two: what is something a screenwriter will never learn in a book?
oh, dialogue. You're never gonna learn how two people talk through a book. It's like you're gonna learn how to get exposition out, and that's great. That's important, but getting it naturally, that's just through conversation. And you know it's going to start like if you want it to be natural, the scene is going to be way too long, and then you're going to have to cut it down. But it dialogue is the hardest thing to do, and I would say it's impossible to teach, because there has to be this intrinsic knowledge of like how people communicate, and like the small things they do, the flinches, the blinks, and all that sort of stuff. And I think that it's something that it's not that it can't be taught, it's really difficult to be taught, and especially through just text in a book, it's going to be impossible to learn it.
No, that's a great point. Because like so many different things, you could like teach. I feel, but dialogue is something that I don't know. It has to be in you. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like that's one of the things that I struggle with as a screenwriter is writing like dialogue that's engaging and that's true to the characters. How do you deal
Mhm.
with like? Are you like? How's your dialogue skills?
I would say that's probably my strongest skill.
Wow.
I was raised by two therapists, so I have been talking my entire life, so I think that's benefited me. It's like, I'm a talker. I
Hmm.
converse with people, and so I think that I'm pretty good at understanding how people talk, and I think a lot of it is just a big part of it is just knowing your characters, and so I think a lot of people know their plot, and not a lot of people know what their character would do in situations that don't exist in the film or the pilot or whatever it is. And so I think that's a big part of dialogue is what are they going to how are they going to react to every micro moment. And so I think there are certain times when people care more about the plot than the character. And so they're just and that's how you can tell it's like exposition-y dialogue.
I love that. Knowing your characters is the path to writing great dialogue. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Question number three. What is the greatest character arc you've seen in a story?
Is the greatest character arc I've seen in a story. I'm gonna go. I don't think it's the greatest, but it's the one that's on my mind right now. Is Greg Kinnear and Little Miss Sunshine.
Okay.
And just like going from a there's winners and losers and don't be a loser and just writing books about it and like really having to believe that philosophy to sell it and then having to completely change that, flip it like in a 180, to support his daughter. And is one that, yeah, again, I it's not that it's not the best. I think that there are ones that are more clear in other movies, but there's something about that one that I think just sticks with me. It's just, I think it's with character arcs, it does help when like you can kind of agree with it when it's not just like a superhero thing, because like that's like you're never going to be in a situation like that. But something like Greg Kinnear and Little Miss Sunshine, you can really take that to heart.
It's interesting. I don't have the data on it, but I would have to say, out of all the interviews I've done, I think Little Miss Sunshine has been brought up like more
Yeah,
times than any other like
of course, of
screenplay.
course. It's Michael Arndt.
uh, all right. Um, Question number four. What was the first screenplay you wrote, and what was that writing process like?
Oh, first screenplay I wrote. I'm gonna go with the one that I finished. Um, and that was called Undergrad, and it was a comedy about um, undergrad in college and a guy who gets dumped the summer before he goes to school and then ends up living next to his ex-girlfriend in the dorms and kind of like having to learn to get over her while also like hearing her right next to him doing all the college things. Um, and that process was I graduated high school. I knew I wanted to be a screenwriter, and I'd done a few things. I'm just like writing on my own and doing Second City and those sorts of things. And I knew that I didn't want to go to school for it because I wasn't going to learn the way I needed to. But I wanted to go to school still because like it's fun. Everyone's partying, everyone's drinking. It's like everyone's having their last little, their final chapter of childhood. And so I was just going up to my friends' dorms and like staying there for like a week, and while they were in class, I was just writing my college screenplay, my version of Animal House that was like in touch with feelings and things like that. And so for me, it was kind of like immersion and writing from experience of just like FOMO, wanting to have sort of like what I was writing, um, and like having you know had my heart broken and stuff like that.
So you mentioned the first screenplay you've actually finished. So let's go back. So how come you were able to finish this one and not the other one you started?
I think this one was uh, it was my first attempt at writing outside of high school. Um, so everything else I had done was for like, when everyone else was writing English projects, I was writing scripts and submitting them as like, my projects. And so uh, I wasn't really, I mean, I didn't know the process. And so I'd get halfway in and not know how to finish it. It was just like, I kind of knew structure a little bit, but I would just always get lost, and I didn't really know how to save myself. So this was the first one where I think I was like reading screenplay books and like sending it, because at this point I had a few writer friends, and so I was sending it to people and thinking and asking like, how is it, like, am I doing it right, that sort of thing, and kind of like learning through like the process of elimination in terms of just like doing all the wrong things and then correcting them.
Is there any particular book that you read that kind of like set you on that path to like knowing like form structure and things like that?
I think not really. It was mostly reading screenplays. I don't think I've ever. I mean, Script Notes, the podcast, I found more useful than
Oh
any book.
yes, I love that podcast.
So just like finding the right episodes that like fit, like that helped me in a moment where I was stuck. Because that's the thing, is like I think a screenplay book is useful, except for when you're writing. It's like you kind of want to skip to the page where it helps you in the problem you're at. And so I found it was much easier to scroll through the podcast and find the one that was like how to do this, or like what characters need to want, and like I could find something that actually like affected what I was doing, and then that would help me out.
All right, all right. We've arrived at the final question. All right,
Okay.
question number 5. You get to plan and go on a non-romantic date slash hang out with your
Okay.
current main character.
Okay.
What does that date look like?
Oh man, paintball, paintball with Tucker. Yeah, no, the most recent screenplay I've like written and kind of just like recently finished is about like a TSA agent who's just kind of a loser. Couldn't graduate aviation school or police academy, and so he's just grasping at the power he can, and he's someone who just wants to be a patriot so badly, but doesn't really know what that means. And so I feel like I just want to do fake manly things with him, like airsoft paintball, and just see him take it so seriously, so overly seriously.
Oh wait, what? I love like fake manly things. What? Give me some examples of like fake manly things.
Um, like things where it feels like there's danger, but there's no danger. So like, I want to say like bungee jumping.
Wait,
Um,
there's danger bungee
I
jumping.
guess there is danger in bungee jumping. You're right. You're right. Okay, like yeah, paintball and airsoft. Those are definitely two.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I can't, or even the skydiving in like the fan room,
Okay, that's a
like
good one.
something where it
Yeah,
like there's no reason to like go karting. Like these are all
yeah.
things where like in the moment you have adrenaline, but it's like, oh, it's a children's thing.
Or indoor like rock
Yeah,
climbing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so so the TSA agent, what's his name again?
Tucker.
Oh, it's like a perfect
Yeah,
character name. So let me ask you this: Is this from your pilot Grounded, or is this something
this
else?
is from my pilot grounded. Yeah, the one about
Okay,
the air.
well, are you okay talking about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cause I read the synopsis, or it was like, oh, I was like, as soon as I read it, I was like, you know what, this is so great. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, yeah. So it's an ensemble comedy, sort of in the vein of like Superstore or The Office, about, the worst rated, highest trafficked airport in North America, and sort of like looking at like, the intricacies of like why it's so poorly run. Um, and so it's both showing the ineptitude of all the characters, but also what makes them special and what gives them heart. And it's kind of like, I would say, sort of in some ways, very similar to like Community, in terms of that sort of like misfit aspect, and then very much like sort of all the ensemble. What am I blanking on the name? Sort of like interview comedies, kind of like talk to camera comedies, like The
Like,
Office, Parks and Rec, those sort of
okay,
things.
okay,
And
yeah,
yeah, just follows Tucker, who's kind of like I said before, like couldn't graduate police school, flight school, anything, and so he's ended up as a TSA agent, and sort of like the journey of him learning how to be less insecure and more supportive of his daughter, his ex-wife, just be a better person.
yeah. I love it. I love the concept and just especially now that you've talked about the character Tucker,
Yeah,
is great. I'm putting, even though it's like the pilot. Wait, is it the pilot, right?
It's the pilot, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you probably have like a whole like season arc and all that
Yeah, yeah,
good stuff. All right, that's exciting.
yeah.
All right, all right. This has been 5 questions with screenwriter Simon Owens. Simon, thank you so much. I
Thank you
do
for
want to
having
ask, what's
me.
a recent TV show or film you've watched that you would recommend to our viewers?
Mm. I just recently watched. I'm watching Stick right now on Apple TV. It's the one about the golf pro, and it's just lovely. It's really nice. It's funny. It's sweet. It's like a summer show. It's not taking itself too seriously. It's so
Mhm.
easy to just put on. While you're eating dinner. It's perfect.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about Apple TV. Like maybe I need to just like dive in because like so
Yeah.
far like I've heard like people mention the studio,
Yep.
Severance,
Yep.
and then like a few others. Like I guess Apple TV is like they have some good stuff, huh?
It's. I would say it's giving HBO a run for its money in terms
Wow.
of like high quality, well produced content. It's
Mhm.
like they just keep making bangers, and
Wow.
so I mean, you get it for free if you buy a new iPhone. I think you get like 6 months for free, so it's like it's well worth using if you have it.
Yeah. All right, sticks. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers before we end?
I mean, right now I'm just in the bunker writing process. So, if you want to check out some stuff I've written on Hulu, there's Overlord and the Underwoods and Max, which are both really fun shows. But yeah, just read Cameron Clark's screenplay. It's the best.
Brainstorm, break it down, make a dream, create a scene with Stratwood. Stratwood.